So where does the heat go in this thing? It's so tiny. Does this thing really hold up? It's pretty small. How can something so small make a big difference? Is the Cricut Mini Heat Press worth it? Should you invest your money into such a tiny press? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all that and more. So let's get to it. Hey everybody out there, I hope you're doing great today. My name is Ryan and this is another episode of Nostalgic Nick-Nacks. I'm glad you're here. And today my goal is to talk about this wonderful, marvelous tool called the Cricut Mini Heat Press. So if you've been wondering about this heat press and you want more information about it, well, this is the video for you. I've been using it for about 3 years with my perler beading projects, and I absolutely adore it. And I've done over 500 perler beading projects with it, and it has not failed me yet. It really is a marvelous machine in a tiny package. You can see how small it is right here. I'm going to go over my top 3 reasons as why I love the Cricut Mini Heat Press and why you should be considering it for your perler beading projects. If this is your first time to my YouTube channel, I make perler beading retro gaming videos and I really enjoy it. There's so much satisfaction to making the wonderful characters, pixel characters of the past, and there's so much nostalgia with it. So if you're interested in perler beading and this is your first time coming across perler beading and you want to give it a shot, well, check out this video I have up here, and that will give you all the things that you're going to need for perler beading, from the tweezers to the heat presses like the one I'm talking about today, to the beads and where to get the beads from and all of that. It's also in the description down below. And speaking of where I get my beads from, I get my beads from Top Tier Beads. They have a top-notch service and they provide perler beads as well as their own brand Top Tier Beads, and they boast over 250 colors. I haven't even seen all the colors, but I know there are a ton of them. And if that sounds great to you and you want some beads from Top Tier Beads, I'm an affiliate partner with the company, and you can follow the link down below in the description for 15% off your first order with Top Tier Beads. They do amazing work and get those beads shipped out to you quicker than you can shake a stick at it. If you have any questions about Top Tier Beads, please let me know, and also reach out to Jazz. She is the owner of Top Tier Beads. She's very good about getting back with you if you have questions. So check that out. Let's talk about the Cricut Mini Heat Press. So I got my Cricut Mini Heat Press, the same one I've got right here. I got it off of Amazon about 3 years ago, hard to believe. And it is still working fantastically well. And it's such a great device in a very small package. So why do I like the Cricut Mini Heat Press and why am I singing its praises? It happens to be a very well-built product. So when you're spending about, I think the deal is right now on Amazon, for $49, they're giving you $20 off, normally $69. But if you're spending $49, you expect to have a certain amount of quality in the item that you're buying, right? I know I do. So when I got this, I was thinking, well, you know, I hope that it's high quality. I hope that it's going to work great for me for the long term. And I can say, after 3 years of using this product, $49, I purchased it back then, it's worked fantastic. It has the same amount of heat dissipation. The heat press part of this heat press is still heating very evenly. Every single time I use it, I get the same consistent results, and that's amazing considering I bought this 3 years ago. So it's very well built and reliable. The second thing about the Cricut Mini Heat Press that I absolutely love is that it is tiny, but it is powerful. And I'll tell you exactly how powerful it is. This little thing can get up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, that is amazing. This thing can get as hot as an oven. And I actually, unfortunately, had the circumstance of touching it just a tiny bit one time. And boy, man, it was hot. Don't make that mistake of touching the bottom of it. Right now, it is very cool to the touch. I haven't used it. So what are the temperature settings for the Cricut Mini? On the first heat setting, and that's when you click this, and it has one light illuminated. That heat setting is going to go up from 255 to 295 degrees Fahrenheit. If you click it again, it's going to go up to 300 to 355 degrees Fahrenheit on setting 2. Now setting 3, when you have 3 lights here, my favorite setting, by the way, it's going to go from 360 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that is seriously hot, and it's amazing that it gets that hot, and it only takes about 3 to 4 minutes for it to warm up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That is amazing. The third thing that I love about the Cricut Mini Heat Press is that it is very lightweight. It is also flexible, so it's lightweight and flexible. So what I mean by flexible, yeah, you're not going to be able to bend it. It's a hard plastic product. What I mean is that when you are working on a project, you can get some very detailed work with the Cricut Mini. And it has a small surface area, but it is lightweight, and you can just you can point the end down and get a little tiny part of your project. You could go on the side and get a side of it, or the other side. It really is very versatile, and that lightweight ability of this press really comes in handy when you have to focus on those details, as I often do. And maybe you forgot 2 tiny beads at the bottom of your project, and you have to fuse them together, but you don't want to overfuse everything else. So Cricut Mini comes in handy for those times. And that's not something you can say about one of the big heat presses. This one here I've got, and maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but this one it's really great at the bigger projects, but when you have a tiny project, you want to have a tiny heat press. It just makes sense. So another great thing that adds to the versatility of the Cricut Mini Heat Press is this super duper long cord. I mean, look at this thing. It is humongous. This is a 6-foot cord that they include with the Cricut Mini Heat Press. And I think it's fantastic because you don't have the kind of anxiety. Is my cord going to be long enough for the project? Do I have to have the press right beside my project? Well, you got a good 6 feet there that you're dealing with. So you really don't have range anxiety with your Cricut Mini Heat Press. Okay, let's take a quick look under the microscope to see this Cricut Mini. I'm going to go to a top-down view of the Cricut Mini so you can see it in a whole lot more detail. So let's go to that, and then I've got a tutorial for you just to show you how the Cricut Mini works with a small project and a medium-sized project, just so you can see how it actually irons or actually melts the projects. Okay everybody, here is a more detailed look at the Cricut Mini Heat Press. So one thing I did not say earlier is that it actually comes with this base that is wonderful because it keeps your surface, whether you are using wood or you're using a plastic table of some kind, or metal, this does a great job of keeping the heat inside. So you'll get that, and this is the heat press itself. If you haven't looked into these before, here is the side, here is the side, or here's the back, here's the side, here's the front, and you can see again those 3 different markings for your temperature settings. I really love to use level 3 all the time. That is my recommendation. The 3rd heat setting does it all. And then here's the other side, and here's the bottom, and here's why I love heat presses. They have a flat surface. And I talked more about this in my video on my favorite heat presses and the heat presses I use. You can check it out up here in this link. But I do not like a regular iron, and some people love using a regular iron, but for me, no way. I cannot go back ever since I was using this heat press because it provides an even surface. And that means consistent heating every single time. I really love it. All right, so now let's take a even closer look, and I'm going to do some measuring here. I've got my handy dandy little tape measure. So the side of it the length of it is about 3.5 inches. And then the width is going to be about 2.5 inches. And then the height of it is at about 3.5, 4 inches when you get up to the top. So very tiny product. And I'm gonna weigh this thing too, just to show you how lightweight it is. And the bottom is cool to the touch now, so I'm gonna put it on my scale. And it looks like about 9.8 ounces, about 10 ounces altogether. Really lightweight. And even with the base on it, if you're traveling somewhere, it can go up to a pound or so. But I mean, really, that's all you're looking at is about a pound to take that with you. Definitely portable. So I just want to show you again real quick here. When you press this button, it goes up to the 1st heat setting, and you press it again, it goes up to the 2nd heat setting, and then one more time, 3rd heat setting. And like I said, that's only going to take about 3 or 4 minutes to heat up, which is amazing because it's such a tiny package. I cannot overstate that. It is really tiny. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about with this up-close look at the Cricut Mini Heat Press. Now I'm going to go into the little demonstration of a small perler bead project and a big one, or a medium-sized one. And so you can kind of see how it operates. So here are my 2 perlers I'm going to iron with the Cricut Mini Heat Press. I've got a big toad here. He's kind of the larger perler, or you would say medium to large perler. And then this cool character here is actually one that I created, and I'll talk a little bit more about him as I'm ironing, but these are the 2 I'm going to be ironing to show you the capabilities of this heat press. So the first thing you're going to do, obviously, is turn it on. Like I said, I'm going to go to the 3rd heat setting here, and it will be about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, I've got my paper here ready to go cut out into squares, and I'm gonna iron this guy. This guy is actually a character I created, and I used one of the little programs that I found. I might do a video on it in the future, where you can just put your little beads down and in the app and make your own little character. So this is a character from a game series that I've made up that is all about the mushroom people. And so this is one of the mushroom warrior knights. So he's got his little sword, and you see his mushroom top there, and he's got a little mustache going on. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, he is ready to go. So I'm going to put my perler paper right down there. To get a good angle for you here, I've got my other camera set up so you can see the nuances of this Cricut Mini. So as I'm ironing, I mean, you can see it's already going to town, getting this done. You can see these perler beads have already fused together, no problem. I mean, this Cricut Mini really does a fantastic job. I am almost done with this side. You can see, you can just really get the edges. It's really hard to do that with an iron. There are people who do it, no problem, but I just really struggled. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what is capable with the Cricut Mini. All right, so this one's all done. I'm gonna put a book on it and then move on to the Toad from Mario Kart. So here he is. I've got my perler paper here. I'm gonna turn it this way and get started with the tiny heat press. And one thing I did not say about the Cricut Mini, another great thing about it that some irons do not have the ability to do, the Cricut Mini actually has an auto shut off feature. So if it's not used for about 10 minutes, it actually turns off on its own. And so you don't have to worry about any kind of harm being done to anybody or anything in the house because it shuts off. So good thing to know. Not all irons have that capability, but this heat press does, as well as the bigger heat press that I have, it also does that. And if you were to look at the more budget-friendly heat presses out there that are in line with the Cricut Mini, you would see that they probably have that feature as well. So I've almost got half the toad done here. It's looking great. Everything is ironing very evenly, which is what I've come to expect with this heat press. If you would like to see a Mario Kart crew, these real big sprites, let me know. I'd love to make them again. They're awesome characters to make. Always loved Super Mario Kart growing up, and love Mario Kart on the Switch. It's a great game. I'm gonna hold it here because I see there's a lot of white that needs to be ironed and the red. It doesn't take really long, very long at all. And what I like to do with this heat press is I like to kind of look over things as I'm ironing them and see if I need to go back over something again. So you can see maybe I need to go over this a little bit more. So I'm gonna kind of spot iron, really get some of those areas. I mean, it really does a great job. All right, so I'm all done with that side. Now I'm going to get the other side. And what I love to do in my videos, you've probably seen before, is when you're flipping a big project to have a piece of cardboard and then take that and hold it against the board, the pegboard, and flip it, and you're good to go. And that transferred very well. Okay, I'm all done with Toad, and I'm gonna put the book on him so he is not gonna warp up. Always put books on your projects. All right, so here are the results. I have my small character, I have my medium character. Let's take a look and see how the heat press did. So here is the small character. Everything looks really great, very solid, consistent, ironing all the way through. And then we have Toad here from Mario Kart. Let's take a look at him and see how the Cricut did with a bigger perler here, and you can see the size difference. And it did very well. I have to say, everything, if we take a closer look here, everything connected very well. I am very impressed with the Cricut Mini. Of course, I already knew this, but I wanted to show you how great this little tool is, especially for somebody who's beginning with perler beading and you want to find something that is foolproof and does the work every time. It's just really great, and hopefully you saw that here with these examples, that the Cricut Mini is fantastic. It's small but mighty. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed taking a closer look at the Cricut Mini Heat Press. This is my go-to heat press. I love the size, the versatility of it, the lightweight nature of this thing, but at the same time it just packs a punch and goes all the way up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Cricut does an amazing job with their products, and the Cricut Mini is popular for good reason, and I highly recommend it. So I honestly give it 5 stars, 10 out of 10. I love this product. So if you're interested in purchasing one, please check in the description below. I do have some affiliate links down there. I have both of my heat presses, but I'll have the Cricut Mini where you can see it front and center. I know there are some other heat presses out there that I've seen on Amazon, and I'm sure you've seen them too, and they are cheaper. I'd be willing to try these out in the future. And if you'd like to support me and buy me a coffee, I do have a link for that. And maybe if I get $50, I'll buy one of these off-the-wall, unbranded type of heat presses and maybe try it out on the channel and see how it stacks up against the Cricut Mini Heat Press. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want more perler beading content. I have a new video out every week, and I truly love what I'm doing because perler beading is an art form, and I love to share that love with all of you. Thank you all for watching. That's going to be it for today's video. I pray that you have a fantastic day, and until next time, happy beading.